I purchased 2 Cayennes in 2 days, and now I'm here to tell you why. First, let's go back to when the first one got delivered.
Got a car!
You got another car.
I did.
We got another Porsche.
I'm gonna make it into a monster truck. You excited?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yes.
And I told her about it originally a couple days ago because of our current situation and what we have going on later today. And this is gonna be a lot of fun. Take the family to the beach, go on some trails, and show the kids a different side of car life.
2 days later.
So as you can see, there are 2 958.2 Cayennes in my driveway. And I'm gonna go over exactly what happened and why there's 2 of them, but in the end, there only is going to be 1. So this is the one I originally purchased. This is the one from Carvana. And if you're not familiar with Carvana, they have a ton of photos and everything online. They make it as convenient as possible where you purchase online and they end up delivering the vehicle right to your house, or you can go to one of their vendor locations and pick up the vehicle there. They make it very straightforward and convenient where they register it, they inspect it, they title it, everything you need to get done. So you don't need to do anything once you receive the vehicle. And Carvana has a pretty bad rep of the quality of the vehicles and the condition that they're in. And I kind of want to take a risk. Only reason because they do offer a 7-day return window if you're not happy with the vehicle. All your money back besides the shipping costs that you had to pay to get the car delivered to your house or the location. And besides that though, the car is supposed to be in a ready condition for basically anyone to take on the road. Now this one is a 2018 958.2 Cayenne S trim. So it's got a lot of the nice features on it. Like it has the heated and AC seats. It comes with the 3.6 twin turbo V6 and the interior is in amazing condition. Overall, the pictures that was shown in the listing pretty much was as it's shown, besides a few flaws here and there that showed up that was not shown on the listing as a surprise to me. So for example, the original listing only showed like a couple marks in the back of the bumper. But when it showed up, I noticed immediately that scrape on the back left. And then there's a couple door dings here and there, not crazy. There was scratches all along this hood right here. A couple dings. The worst part about it was this haze. You can see the haze. Whoever tried correcting this paint did an absolute terrible job and should put the buffer down. So between all that, the markings, there was a ding on the door right there. And then this back quarter panel area, you can see the paint's just super like choppy and like just did not look the way that it should. And I was a little unhappy at to start with, but I kind of looked past it and said, I can try and clean up the paint. So moving forward, the following day, so I received this on Thursday. Friday, I went up to Technik Imports for a post-purchase inspection. They did a whole once over. One thing I noticed right away was that I did notice some leaks in the front of the engine. So when they looked over the whole vehicle, they found a laundry list of issues with this car. Underneath the hood, you have valve cover gasket leak, timing cover gasket leak, and the power steering cooler lines are leaking as well. Now with all those leaking, especially on this side of the engine, they were dripping directly onto the alternator, and that's going to also cause a problem with the alternator. On top of that, the vehicle has rust all throughout the bottom of the vehicle. It was originally a New York car, then it was a Pennsylvania car, and then ended up in North Carolina just this year. So this has been a Northeast car its entire life. I took the risk of that, and again, I did it only because I know I had the 7-day return window that I said if I wasn't happy, I just return it. So if you look underneath, we can see right off the bat, just like the subframe and the bolts and everything, nothing just looks very clean. And I'm also going to attach a couple photos from the PPI that they took to show that there's even more excessive rust underneath, and just something that's not going to be fun to work on in the future. I tried looking past this, but there were some spots that were a little concerning. Like the exhaust bolts were pretty rough, which if I replace them, I'll just torch them out. But that just leads to more issues down the line of possibly not being able to get bolts removed properly, or needing to drill them out, or possibly the worst part was I saw it on the bodies to some heat shields that looked pretty rough. Now going back to the cosmetics, one big thing that really irked me when I showed up, this right here. You can see this burn mark is, I'm almost certain was from the cigarette lighter. I took it out because it felt like it wasn't the right size, because when I slid this forward, it was hitting it. So I removed it to prevent getting caught again. But I'm almost certain that one, between the listing photos, which didn't have that marking on there, to the car being delivered, someone turned that on by accident and accidentally burned the seat. Underneath the hood, it might be hard to see because of the lighting of everything. You can already see right off the bat how there's just residue on the front of the engine, and it was pooling up in the valleys underneath. The leaks were a pretty big concern because it's a few $1,000s to get everything repaired if I were to go somewhere, and if I were to do myself, it would still be a lot of work, way more than I wanted to. There is signs of rodents that were living in here, obviously. And then I noticed that was all chewed up, which is probably from a rodent. And then on top of that, after Lily took it for a quick test drive herself, I heard her coming home and I heard some tapping on this top end. I don't know if it was spark knock. It didn't really sound very promising, and I was not happy with this. Now, the price I paid for this was pretty much right around market price or a little more, but it also included the fees, the titling, and all that. So I paid around market price, and if I'm gonna pay market price, I want a car that's worth it and not one that needs all of this work done to it. Overall, it's not in terrible condition. It could use some love, but if I got, say, like this for maybe several thousand less than what I paid, I probably would have kept it and just fixed everything. Due to all the issues and just all the underlying stuff that I was not happy with and this unexpected stuff, I decided to just return it and then try and find something else. And that's what led me to this. This one was a local listing that was only 30 minutes from my house. I saw this also when that came up, but this had a little bit more of mileage on it though, so I kind of refrained from going for it, and the bank approved me immediately for that one. So that's the reason why I went with this, and I didn't even think about looking at this one. So after coming to the realization I wanted to return this, I started looking around and I came up back with this one, and I was like, you know what, let me go check it out. It's only 30 minutes from me. And sure enough, I showed up, and this thing is one of the nicest cars that I probably could have found. So what we have here is, this is a 2016, where that one's a 2018, and this is a GTS trim. So this is one trim higher than that. It does have the same drivetrain, which is the twin turbo V6 3.6 motor, but that one makes 420 horsepower. This one makes 440. I'm only assuming that's just like a factory tune. But what's nice is because of that, it also has a sport exhaust with the sport button. It's got all the different accessories. It's got the sport suspension with the air. So it's got like 5 different height levels that I wanted to set it at if I wanted to. It has all the trim pieces on the front lower lip, fender flares, the side skirts, the rear, and it's also got the blacked out trim. Another big positive thing was the headlights. This has the matrix headlights, and these have the factory projectors. They're an OEM Porsche option, and apparently, from what I've told, these are not cheap at all. Apparently, they're around like $7,000 each, brand new from Porsche themselves. So that's a very big plus because I love the way the matrix lights look. As far as the interior, they are basically identical, except this has the GTS in the headrest, and this does not have ventilated seats, which was definitely something I kind of wanted, but I wasn't gonna make it the reason why I didn't want to buy it. It does have the panoramic roof, just like the other one. It's got the full infotainment center. This has keyless entry, so it's got that in there. So you only have to hold the key, you don't have to put it in, where that one you have to put in the ignition. This has the door lock on the outside and the keyless entry, so you don't have to press anything in the key. But overall, this one is just in way better condition. There's no leaks. There's a little bit of residue on the outside of the valve cover gasket, but 20,000 miles ago, the valve cover gasket, the timing cover gasket, the water pump, and the water pump gasket was replaced at a Porsche dealership. So I only assume that at 20,000 miles ago, they would have addressed any other issues at that time. This one has 109,000 miles on it, so it's got a little bit more than this one, which this one has around, I think, 80,000. So it is a bit more. But if I were to compare these two in person and not even look at the mileage, I would think this has like 20 to 30 and this has 100K plus. A couple features that the GTS had, which the S didn't have, was all this right here. This is for the air suspension, which has 5 different height settings. It's got Sport Plus, Sport, and Comfort. And it has also the exhaust button, which just opens up a little bit, and the Sport mode, which I think the other one had too, but it's different than this because it's the tune. So besides that, this has also the window shades that I control from the front windows, has the suede trim, the GTS, and the headrest, and the keyless entry as well. One feature that this truck actually had that I do want to add to this is the tow hitch. So this one doesn't have a tow hitch because I believe the GTS came factory without them. You could add them as an option, I'm assuming. But I do want to add a tow hitch only because these have a 7,700 pound towing rating, I believe, and I can tow the 911 with this, which would be such a cool combo seeing this pulling the 911 on a trailer. The condition of this paint is 10 times better than the one on the S trim. This is actually a black metallic. I think this is the metallic too, but it's hard to see in this light, or it's just like a haze. But this has the black out trim as well. So the emblems are blacked out. The trim around the windows are blacked out. It's got the black tips. And then the taillights, I noticed, are a little more darker than those. Another thing that the GTS has is also the brakes. The brakes are significantly bigger, and I'm afraid to look up what these are going to cost me when I do got to replace them. I did notice that the tires are all the same size, but they're different brands. To me, that's not a big deal because my plans, which is what I'm talking about next, is I plan to lift this. So I'm going to be doing a Eurowise lift with some BBS wheels and 31-inch tires to start as like a phase 1. Make that a really clean, simple, subtle setup. And then down the line, I want to do a front rear bumpers, maybe go a little higher on the lift, maybe do 33s. That I'm not worried about. I want to do a subtle lift, just enough to enjoy it and to make this look a little more aggressive. Now, one thing I was really excited about was that because this has about 20 to 30,000 more miles than that, it is 2 years older. This was actually significantly cheaper too. This was about $8,000 cheaper than that one, but it's a trim higher and in way better condition. One thing I was on the Carfax that has a minor accident in the front end, but they say on Carfax that minor is like either scrapes or dings, so really, really small. They could have simply just rear-ended someone at a low speed, and then it was just reported to the police, and that's what goes on the Carfax. There's a couple pieces that don't line up perfectly, like that lower valence trim. There's a little mark on the front of the bumper, and then this side over here has a slight scrape, right there. And then that bottom trim's a little off. To me, that didn't bother me because when I go to do a front bumper on after I lift it, that bottom whole section gets cut out, and then I do the two bumper. That's a little scuffed. That looks like it'll come right out, but besides that, this paint is super shiny. It's straight. There's minor scratches throughout, but for a 110,000 mile car, I'm honestly extremely happy with how this looks. There's been a crazy week between trying to purchase that one on Monday and get it delivered on Thursday, then get the PPI, then deal with trying to figure out if I want to return it or not, and just so happen to find basically exactly what I want, but in a GTS trim right here. That was only 30 minutes away. So I'm glad that it worked out in my favor. I do plan to hopefully have this thing lifted just in the next few weeks, and then I'm going to do some videos on that as well. So if you guys are interested, be sure to stay tuned. If there's other recommendations or questions, definitely leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think. I'm really excited for this build because it's something different that I've done in a while. I used to be big into Jeeps before I got into cars about 15, 20 years ago. So having another overland build is gonna be a lot of fun. And I'm excited to take the family on some new journeys.